Lights out. And now it's still out. There we go. Oh, here. Is it this? Yai, dai, dai, dai. Yai, dai, dai, dai. Yai, dai, dai, dai. Yai, dai, dai, dai. Yai, dai, dai. Yai, dai, 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 yai, dai, dai. Yai, dai, 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 yai, dai, dai, dai. Yai, dai, 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 dai. Yai, dai, yai, dai, yai, dai, 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 dai. Yai, dai, 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 dai. Yai, dai, dai, dai. Yai, dai, dai, dai. Yai, dai, dai, dai. Yai, dai, dai, dai. Shabbat shalom, everybody. Shabbat shalom. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us from home. I'm just so glad to be together again after a couple of weeks away. I hope these winter hibernation holidays brought some rest and peace to all of your homes. And we got a chance to be together, which is wonderful. I want to say thank you to Penny and to Jan for who really stepping in at the very last minute to lead services last week. Thank you for doing that. I'm very grateful. We're going to begin our service this evening with Yedid Nefesh, which you will find on page 7. Yedid Nefesh Av HaRachaman Mishoch Avdecha Aretzonecha Ya'arutz Avdecha Kemo Hayal Yishtachaveh El Muchadarecha Ye'avlo Dedidatecha Minofetzu Vechotam Yada dai 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 yada dai 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 yada dai 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 yada dai 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 yada dai 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 yada dai 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 yada dai 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 yada dai 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 yada dai 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 yada dai 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 yada dai 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 yada dai 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 yada dai 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 yada dai 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 yada dai 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 dai. Let's continue with our candle lighting, which is on page 9. Judy and Bart, would you like to come up and light candles this evening? You're welcome to say no, always. Any invitation I give you, you're always welcome to say, like, no, not tonight, but thank you. Third time's a charm. You got it. There you go. Ata, I don't know. Elinu melech haolam. Asher kishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat. Good job, Liz. Thank you both. Thank you both. Shabbat shalom. Good job, Liz. We're going to continue now with Shalom Aleichem on page 10. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharei, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boechem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi melech malachei hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruchuni l'shalom malachei hashalom malachei elyon. Mi melech malachei hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzeitzchem l'shalom, malachei hashalom, malachei elyon. Mi melech malachei hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Excuse me. We're going to continue with L'chad Dodi on 14. L'chad Dodi, likra kala, b'nei Shabbat nekavela. L'chad Dodi, likra kala, b'nei Shabbat nekavela la la la. L'chad Dodi, likra kala, b'nei Shabbat nekavela. L'chad Dodi, likra kala, b'nei Shabbat nekavela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, Hishmiyanu el hameyuchad, Adonai echad u'shemo echad, L'shem el tiferet v'litchila la 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 l'chad dodi, likra kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela, l'chad dodi, likra kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Mikrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, ki hi mekor haberacha, merosh mikadem nesucha, sof ma'aseh b'machshavat chila la 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 l'chad dodi, likra kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela, l'chad dodi, likra kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Hitoreri, hiva orach kumiori, uri shir daberi, kavod Adonai lechni la 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 l'chad dodi, likra kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela, l'chad dodi, likra kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Boi v'shalom ateret bala, gam b'simcha u'b'zola, toch emunei am segula. Boi chala, l'chad dodi, likra kala, p'nei Shabbat nekabela. L'chad dodi, likra kala, p'nei Shabbat nekabela. We're going to continue with Chatzi Kaddish on page 17. Yikada v'ikada shemei rabba be'alma divarach yirutei v'amlich malchutei b'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael ba'agala uv'izman kariv v'imeru amen. Yehi Shmei Rabba Mevorach Leolam Olal Me'ol Maya Yitbarach V'yishtabach V'yipa'ar V'yitramam V'yitnaseh V'yitadar V'yitalel Shmei Kodesha Barichu Le'elam Min Kol Berchata V'shirata Tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran be'alma ve'imeru. Amen. I invite you to rise for Baruch Hu. Baruch et Adonai HaMevorach Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Leolam Vaed HaMevorach Leolam Vaed. I invite you to be seated. We're going to pray at the bottom of page 18, the English from Ari Varavi. If you'd like to join me, I invite you to. Praise be you, O God, our God, ruler of the universe. With your word you bring on evenings. With wisdom you open the gates of heaven. And with understanding change the times, alternate the seasons, and arrange the stars in your watches in the sky according to your will. You create day and night. You roll the light away from before darkness, and darkness from before light. You cause day to pass and bring night, and differentiate between day and night. God's name is God of all hosts, the Almighty, who is living and enduring, will reign over us forever. Praise be our eternal God, who brings on the evening. Baruch atah Adonai, Hama'ariv Aravim. We're going to continue with Ahavat Olam on page 20. Ahavat Olam Beit Yisrael Amcha ahavta Torah u'mitzvot, chukim u'mishpatim, otanu lemadeta. Al ken Adonai Eloheinu v'shachbenu u'kumenu nasiach bechukecha. V'nismach b'divrei Toratacha u'mitzotacha le'olam va'ed. Ki chem hayenu ve'orech yameinu uvahem negeh yomam v'layla ve'ahavatcha al tasir mimenu leolamim. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael, Ohev Amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levavecha uvechol nafshecha uvechol me'otecha vehayu farim ha'ela asher anochi metzavecha hayom alevavecha Veshinantam levanecha, v'dibarta bam, v'shivtecha b'veitecha, uvelechtecha v'derech, uv'shochbecha uv'kumecha, ukshartam leot al yadecha, v'hayu letotafo be'eineinecha, uchtabtam al mezuzot beitecha, Uvi sharecha leman tiskeru v'asitem ekol mitzvotai v'tem kedoshim lelohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher chotzeti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim v'hiot lachem Elohim Ani Adonai Elohechem. Sorry. I'm gonna continue. Yeah, it's it's just that time of year. We're going to continue with Mi Chamocha on the next page. Yai dai dai yai dai 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 yai dai 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 yai dai 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 yai dai 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 yai dai 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 yai dai 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 Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai Mi kamocha ne'etar b'kodesh Nora tehilot osefele Nora tehilot osefele Malechutecha ra'u v'anecha bokei hayam Lidnei Moshe u'Miriam Ze'elianu ve'amru Ze'elianu ve'amru Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed Yai dai dai yai dai 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 yai dai 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 yai dai 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 yai dai 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 yai dai 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 yai dai 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 dai. We're going to continue with Hashkivenu, the English on the bottom of 27 and the Hebrew sort of all over the page of 26. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom v'hamidenu shomreinu lechaim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom v'hamidenu shomreinu lechaim. Oh, guide my steps and help me find my way. I need your shelter now. So wrap me in your arms and guide my steps, and help me make this day a song of praise to you. So wrap me in your arms and guide my steps. Hashkiveinu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, V'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim. I'm going to continue now with the Amidah, which you will find on page 51. I invite you to rise if you are doing so. Adonai sefatei tirtach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Eternal God, open my lips that my mouth may declare your glory. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzhak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Leah, Elohei Rachel, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor V'Adonra, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Konei Hakol, V'Zocher Chasdei Avot V'Imahot, Umevi Gula Livnei V'Neihem, Lema'an Shemo Ve'ahava, Melech Chozer U'Moshiach U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Abraham Ve'ezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayei Hakol atah Rav Lechoshia. Mechakel Chaim Bechesed, Mechayei Hakol Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim Berofei Cholim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Michamo Chaba'al Gevurot, Umido Melech, Melech Mimit Umechayeh, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman atah lehachayot hakol. Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh hakol. Atah kadosh u'shimcha kadosh, u'kadoshim b'chol yom yahalucha salah. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh. I invite you to be seated. We're going to continue with Vishamru on 55. Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Ben Yuven, B'nai Yisrael, Oti le'olam, Oti le'olam. Veshamru B'nai Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai, Asa Adonai et hashamayim ve'et haaretz, ve'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Uvayom hashvi'i Shabbat vaynafash, Shabbat vaynafash, Shabbat vayinafash v'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. We're now going to take a few moments for some silent prayer, reflection, and meditation. I invite you to use the words on the page or pray the words of your heart. You can stand, you can sit, whatever works for you, and we'll join back together in a moment. יהיו לרצון אמרי פי והגיון ליבי לפניך אדוני צורי אדוני צורי וגואלי. Well, friends, I had a really cool week this week, which I think you know, but it was really an honor to be able to offer this prayer for the governor and for the administration. And, of course, my parents, who I could not do this job without for so many reasons, both called me at separate times to say, you should talk about why you did that. You should talk about prayer and the government. Because, I don't know about you, but I feel a little like only okay about prayer in public spaces, and only okay at best. The separation of church and state being so crucial to those of us in this room and really to everybody in this country. But, if it had to be somebody, I'm glad it was me. But it was quite an honor. And I felt so grateful to have been asked and grateful to be able to say some words. I tried really hard to make it as inclusive as possible. I find even for Jews, sometimes the word God makes us feel some kind of way because we have a lot of different names for God. So I just, I felt really grateful, and it was a really awesome opportunity. But then, both my parents were like, but this is not abnormal. Because I said to them, I don't know about prayers in the government. They were like, well, this isn't abnormal, Alicia. Our people have been doing this for a long time. I was like, thank you so much, both of you. So thank you, parents, very much. The prayer for our government is something that Jews have been doing forever. In fact, in Jeremiah, it says, seek the welfare of the city to which I have exiled you and pray to God on its behalf. for in its prosperity you shall prosper. So all the way in Jeremiah, the prophet Jeremiah, the people were already living in exile at that point, and God says to them, like, and they're told, you should pray on behalf of the place where you live, because if it prospers, you will prosper. Right, so that's that. And then, of course, in Pirkei Avot, it says, pray for the welfare of the government, for were it not for the fear it inspires, here it goes, every man would swallow his neighbor alive. Of course, it is a really interesting conversation about government and policies and whatever, but that's not really what I wanted to do, because, this didn't feel like a political moment for me. It felt like a moment in which I was continuing to carry on this legacy of feeling, first of all, like Jews were included in a moment in which oftentimes we are not. So that was a really inspiring and wonderful feeling. But there's prayers for our government in our prayer book. In fact, we have prayers for our country, many different versions, on page 73, including America the Beautiful and the New Colossus, many interesting options that you could choose from. And this prayer for our country, but that habit goes all the way back to Jeremiah. And then of course I'm thinking about today. We're thinking about like 2 years. I can't believe it's been 2 years already since what happened at the Capitol. And that incident, of course, inspires me to pray for the wisdom and clarity of our leaders more than ever. And seeing what's going on in our like just this week politically, I feel like those prayers are even more important. In a place where we have always felt safe, I think these last several years, things have felt maybe, I don't know that always is important. Maybe that's not the right modifier, but like in a place where we have felt safe for a long time, these last several years, we've, I think as people have felt a little bit less safe in this country. And so to me, it seems like while we can work towards bettering that, also including that in our prayer is really important. This wasn't necessarily a prayer for like, I hope they win and I hope whatever. That this was a prayer for protection and guidance for these folks. And I was actually talking to somebody else about this, who I mentioned, I have some ambivalent feelings about prayer in the government. And I said, but at the same time, when somebody goes into surgery, the thing that I pray for is for the clarity and the wisdom of the doctors, strong, steady hands. I pray for the love and care of all of the staff. And so it feels a lot similar to me in that way. We are able to thrive in this country because of the system that the system is broken. We've talked about this. It's fine. I'm just gonna not address that at this moment, and instead talk about without democracy, we know what it looks like to be Jewish in a place where there isn't democracy, right? If we even look at Jews who came from the former Soviet Union, who were not allowed to be Jewish, like our ancestors for whom, and some of our congregants for whom being Jewish was literally a death sentence. Like the health and welfare of the government is really crucial to our survival. And that, I think, this not only prosperity, but our ability to live in a place. So I think when I think about this ability to say these prayers for our country, even when we disagree with its leaders, even when we think things, are really a mucky disaster, to me, it feels comforting to know that our people have been doing these kinds of prayers since the time of Jeremiah, right? When that book was written, we wanted to be back in Israel, but we were living in Babylon, and that's just what was happening. And we were crying out for Israel, and our people were saying, let us go home, and yet we were praying for the welfare of the place that we didn't want to be. So I did a little more research, of course, on the prayer for the government and the state. We have the prayer for the state of Israel and the prayer for peace. And then, but the first written down prayer for the government was in the 14th century in a prayer book by David Abu Darham. But, different wording, different, any Orthodox synagogues do it. Everybody does it. And it was like the liturgy and the ways in which the government was talked about was like firmed up in the 17th century. Bless, guard, protect, help the government, etc. So all this to say that getting to participate in this thing this week was such an honor, obviously, and a privilege to be a part of it. But more than that, it felt like a really Jewish opportunity because I, first of all, got to bring the less directed prayer, perhaps, but also our people have been doing these kinds of prayers for our governments since Jeremiah. What a cool thing to follow in those footsteps. American Jews get to thrive because our government allows us to have the freedom of religion that we need, which we continue to fight for. And of course, the blessings, the prayers have changed over the years, but the one that sticks out of my mind is the Fiddler on the Roof prayer. Is there a blessing for the Tsar? The Tsars, of course, the may God bless and keep the Tsar far away from us. So, I think that's, while it is, Fiddler, it's also, that was part of the prayer then was like, may he be healthy over there. So I feel really grateful to have been able to participate in such an incredible and moving event. And of course, I love rituals, even when they're government rituals. I think so I wound up in this job. So I feel like I got to get a lot out of it. So the reading, there are theses written on prayers for our nation, and many of my colleagues talk about this a lot. So I just thought it was really interesting to be a part of that chain of tradition. So thank you for cheering for me. It was really fun. And it's not nearly as cold as it could have been. It really, it turned out to be a lovely day, and wonderful Patty came. I got to sit in a special section, and it was lovely. So I felt really blessed to be a part of it. So I'm grateful for your support and the ability to continue to offer those kinds of prayers and moments for people of all different stripes. Hopefully found some resonance with it. So yeah, it was a pretty cool week. It was a pretty cool week. Speaking of cool things, Lunch and Learn next week, by the way, just FYI. Lunch and Learn. Can you believe it's already going to be the second Tuesday of January next week? I know, it's unbelievable. We're going to study, we're going to the Talmud. So we're doing the Rabbis Part 3, Talmud. It's going to be great. Yeah. I can't quite, honestly, I'm still processing it. As you can see, I still can't quite believe that it happened, but it was really such an honor and a privilege. And then, I learned a lot about how to, what works for me and what things, when I'm listening to other people do prayers in public, what are the things that immediately stop me? And what are the things that I'm like, oh, I could engage with this even if I don't believe it. And so I was able to sort of play with some of that contrast, which was really important. So I guess I continue to pray for them, and I continue to hope that we will have, I was so grateful for a peaceful transition, for a peaceful day. That was really lucky and wonderful and such a blessing, and continue to pray for their health and safety, because that's, what else can we do? So, Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Really just gave me like a sense of community, which I like a bigger community than us to be able to bring that kind of community. And as I'm thinking about community, of course, I'm thinking about all the people in our community who are in need of healing, of prayers for body, mind, and spirit. This evening, if you're thinking of somebody, after I share our list, I'll invite you to rise and share those names. And then if you're at home, of course, I invite you to share those names aloud or in the chat of whatever function you're in. This evening, we are thinking of Catherine Nelson, Robert Mast, Marilyn Janiak, Larry Littman, Ted Golden, Richard and Joe Koski, Lex Baum-Beslov, Mickey Berg, Sharon Burns, Mike Ingber, Barbara Saul, Doreen Billett, and Claudia Brenner, and Carl Feingold. If you're thinking of somebody else this evening whose name you'd like to share, I invite you to either rise or raise your hand, and we'll hear those names out loud too.
Tim Conley, his family, and friends.
Yishuberach is on page 67. Yishuberach Avotenu Mekor habracha Laimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misheberach imotenu mekor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. Before we conclude our service, I'm going to invite, I guess, Andy Isola, you're up for announcements. Go get him.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Let's see, here they are. Our Hanukkah appeal continues into January, and we are just about halfway to our goal, with plenty of matching funds left. Please consider supporting Shir Tikva with a donation to start the new year. Our Sundays at Shul program returns this Sunday, January 8th, with a welcome back pancake breakfast at 9:30 a.m., followed by our Shomrei Adama Jewish Climate Action Lunch and Learn by Hazon for Kesher teens and adults at 12:15 p.m. to 2 p.m. Later in January, we'll have Drop-In Maj, a presentation about the history of the DIA by CST member Joel Stern. Register at shirtikva.org. Rabbi Alicia's monthly Lunch and Learn is next Tuesday, or this upcoming Tuesday, January 10th at noon. Join us at Shul for an always fantastic learning experience. CST Adult Ed is thrilled to present a 4-week Holocaust class. the historical antecedents leading up to and including 1933 to 45. CST member Michael Liebson will lead this by Zoom-only class taking place Thursdays from 7 to 8 p.m. Register online at shirtikva.org. The membership committee is planning a night of comedy with Rabbi Arnie as the star and would like to have a silent auction that night. Because this promises to be a spectacular evening, we need a few more volunteers. Contact Joyce May if you can help. Have you been joining us either in person or virtually for Shabbat services and are interested in membership or religious school? Please contact our executive director, Lorelei Berg, at info@shirtikva.org with questions or to learn more. That concludes the announcements. Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you, Andy. Thank you, as always, to Andy for being our host trustee, to Jan, and who helped do all the tech, and Becky and Jan, who set up this evening. Thank you. Thank you. I'm grateful. All the papers. We're going to conclude our service. We're going to conclude our service this evening with Aleinu, starting with Aleinu, which is on page 74. I invite you to rise. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כחם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד. I invite you to be seated for a moment. I am on page 76. Hold on to what is good, even if it is a handful of earth. Hold on to what you believe, even if it is a tree which stands by itself. Hold on to what you must do, even if it is a long way from here. Hold on to life, even when it is easier letting go. Hold on to my hand, even when I have gone away from you. This evening, we are in a period of shloshim for our beloved friend, Jeffrey Stern, husband of Bobby Stern and father of Claire, Lucy, and Ruby, and for Paula Gautier, sister of Mary Chesek. We also recall the yard sites, the anniversary of the passing this week of Jack Leventhal, the father of Rochelle Rubin, Laura Levy, mother of Carrie Levy, Leo Book, father of Janice Book, Hal Weber II, brother of Shea Bukema, Sylvia Sloan, mother of David Sloan, Harry Lowy, father of Ruth Zendel, Robert Gibbs, brother of Richard Gibbs, and Rosalie Isola, mother of Andy Isola. We rise and join together for the Kadisha Tom, the Mourner's Kaddish, on page 78. Yikadal v'ikadash shemei rabbah, be'alma divara chirute v'yamlich malchute, be'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chaye zechol be'Yisrael, ba'agala uv'izman kariv v'imru. Amen. Yehi shmei rabbah mevarach le'olam u'lamei almaya, yitbarach v'yishabach v'yipa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, v'yitzadar v'yitzaleh v'yitzhalal shemei dekudusha brichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, ta'amiran be'alma v'yimru. Amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimru. Amen. Oseh shalom bimramav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimru. Amen. May the source of peace bring peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved here and everywhere, to which we say, Amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru amen. Yaseh shalom shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Please be seated. Our concluding prayer this evening is going to be O Devo Shalom, which is on page 83. We don't often do that one on Friday nights, so I like a little extra piece. Why not? O Devo Shalom Aleinu, O Devo Shalom Aleinu, O Devo Shalom Aleinu ve'al kulam. O Devo Shalom Aleinu, O Devo Shalom Aleinu, O Devo Shalom Aleinu ve'al kulam. Salam Aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam Aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam shalom. O Devo Shalom Aleinu, O Devo Shalom Aleinu, O Devo Shalom Aleinu ve'al kulam. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kedishanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho b'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu. Zikaron lema'aseh v'reishi, ki hu yom techila lemikrae kadesh, zecher letziat Mitzrayim, ki vanu v'acharta ve'otanu kidashta mikol hamim. V'shabbat kodshecha ve'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat. Amen. L'chaim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Shabbat shalom, everybody. May it be a sweet one and a restful one. Thanks for being here. Thanks for joining us.